What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster. This is episode 50 now on the series. This will be, unfortunately, the last episode on the Planet Coaster Let's Play series. Now, I will be continuing to play Planet Coaster and making random episodes on really whatever. I have no plans on what I'm going to be making, but content will resume on Planet Coaster, just not as frequently as the Let's Play series. Now, with that being said, I already recorded this video. This video has already been done. It's now 6 in the morning on Saturday. The upload has to be done at 10:30, and the previous one that I did, I had no audio. My mic wasn't even turned on, so I'm trying to do this a second time, and hopefully I remember to cover everything. Now, what we're going to be doing today is a similar thing to what we did in our previous park just recently, Paradise, and that is we're going to go around and ride all the rides, sort of talk about why I did things the way that I did, and I think this goes without saying, but I am by no means a theme park designer, and I am definitely not a roller coaster designer. You guys know my roller coaster designs are normally pretty wacky, and they're kind of the type of thing that you wouldn't think would work at all, but most of the time they get pretty decent ratings. So I think we're going to start things off here at the front of the park, and we'll just go from there. Also, really quick, I just wanted to say thank you guys for almost 1,000 subs now. We're at 973 this morning, so keep in mind this is at about 6:30 Saturday morning when I'm recording this. I didn't think that the channel was going to grow this quickly. It is absolutely taking off right now, and I do have a couple of other series. I know a lot of you have been subscribing specifically for Planet Coaster. I have a ton of other series that you guys are more than welcome to check out. The newest one being Thief Simulator. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds kind of boring. Give it a chance, guys. It might surprise you. It definitely surprised me. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I am. Alright, so enough talking about other series. Let's get into this video today. So the first thing that you see when you walk into the park are these two big signs right here. These are advertising for the entire park. Everything except for like ATMs and bathrooms, stuff like that. I think they advertise for the information booths and all of the shops. I think. I could be wrong on that. I'm not even going to check it because it doesn't matter. The second thing you see when you walk into the park is this big old behemoth of a building. We did an entire episode basically focusing on, ooh, here we go. We got a runner. Go get him. What's his name? What's this guy's name? Caesar Blum. Huh. I don't even remember hiring him, but he got him. Good work, Caesar. But like I was saying, we did an entire episode on just building these buildings, and to be real with you guys, they turned out pretty friggin' sweet. I didn't think they were gonna look as good as they did. Originally, I wanted to convert these into sort of a hotel down here on the bottom side, but I ended up just putting a couple of claw machines in there. I don't have the DLC that gives us sort of those other smaller attractions, but if I did have those, they would definitely be in there as well. So each building here, I think we have 4 buildings in total. We have one for the main entrance, the central, the east, and the west. Hopefully I got those directions right. My direction sense is pretty poor, to say the least. But each building has 4 shops in it, whether that's gift shops or food or, I wanted to say water, what's the other thing? Drinks. I am brain dead, you guys. It's way too early for this. So buildings, pretty sick. I really like the way they turned out. We have information booths, staff building, first aid on the back side here. And as you guys will notice, pretty much all of our rides... Oh, Castle Shards broke down. Oh, what a shame, dude. That's a classic. Most of our rides are going to be breaking down, though, during this episode. That's just the way it is. Now, take a look down here, guys. We have 8,600 people in the park. We have a park rating of just over 5,000. And we got about 42,000 in the bank, which isn't very bad. There goes another ride breaking down. So in the first episode, we added Robo Eagle 1 right here and Robo Eagle 2 on the left, both of which could probably get refurbed. No, Robo Eagle 2 definitely needs it. But they didn't start out this tall. I think I mentioned in the last episode, I did increase the height of these, so they are a little bit shorter, maybe matched with the Big Dipper back here. I had big plans to sort of expand off into this direction with more flat rides, And then I kind of lost interest, and I was like, you know what? Coasters are sick. I'm going to build as many coasters as we can, and they kind of took over the park. So we have more coasters than we do flat rides. So another thing that's worth mentioning is we have 2 bathroom blocks underneath of each building here in the park. I know a lot of people were saying, you don't have any bathrooms. I do have bathrooms. They're just very well hidden, and only the guests really know where they are at this point. So after the main entrance here, guests have the choice of either walking on the path with nothing on it for miles to the left or to the right, but most of them just go down the center strip here. This takes us into what we called Central Park, which has, again, nothing to do with New York City. In the very center here, we have some fountains and a nice little pond. Someone had mentioned that the lily pads don't actually touch the water. It's kind of an optical illusion because they are just floating above the water, but I agree, when you look at it like this, they don't look like they're doing anything. They look like they're just a foot or so above the actual water level. So on the north and the south side of this little pond here, we have the Little Dipper right here. This is sort of the space shot-esque ride, originally called Hyper Jump. This is the shorter of the two. We don't have the megalodon of the space shot rides. It is, I named it the Screaminator 5000 in Paradise. I don't remember the actual name of it, and to be honest, I don't think we even have it researched. And then at the north side, we have the Big Dipper. Makes sense, right? Little Dipper, Big Dipper. This area is kind of celestial themed, I guess, sort of space inspired. So over here on the east, we have the first coaster that we built. I think it was the first coaster. It's definitely the cheapest one. We called this one the Planeteer. It is the coaster that has these sort of spinning spheres. So the actual car spins. I don't know. We'll ride it here in a second, and I'll try to do first person, but I might throw up. And then we have the Underwhelming. This coaster started out terribly, and eventually I think I made it into something that's not too bad. It's definitely not realism, so I think this goes without saying, but if you're looking for realism, this Planet Coaster series is not for you. This is not a realistic series at all. I said I wanted to try to be realistic. But at the end of the day, you guys, it's just a game. So if you are looking for realism, you're not going to find it here. I'm sorry. Maybe a couple of things are realistic, but for the most part, it's just a game. All right? I don't know how many comments I've seen on stuff that I've done in the park that's like, well, that's not very realistic. And okay. I have no idea what to say to that. I mean, it's a game. It's very clearly a game. Rant over. This is the Underwhelming coaster, and it's actually insane. Look at this drop up here. I mean, I would try it. I would definitely try it. Looking at it from the front, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then you see it in the back. This big old pillar back here that goes in on itself. It inverts in on itself. Is that the right word? But anyways, let's go ahead. And I don't know, should we talk about everything first and then go through and ride it? Let's do that. Let's do that. So this is Central Park. Now we're going to move up to the North Central Park, or I think we just called this one, I don't remember. Was it North Central? So we have another shop building right here, of course. We have, I talked about this in the previous episode, Hotel 2G right here. Hotel 2G West, I'm sorry. We have El Restaurante de 2G West over here. And then over here, we have Hotel 2G East and El Restaurante de 2G East. This is starting to sound like I'm a Kardashian, and these are all my children. North, South, East, West. I'm just gonna name my kids after directions now. So that's the North Central shop area. Now we move up into the North Central area. We have a little flat ride here called Scissor. This is the, I would say, the pee-pee area, the pee-pee themed area. We have 2 pee-pees after the name Scissor, making it Scissorp. Over here we have a completely wooden roller coaster. I don't know, have you ever seen a coaster that's not completely wood, I guess? That was kind of dumb. But this is the Woody. So you can kind of get the pee-pee jokes a little bit. And then over here, of course, we have the Red Rocket. Red Rocket's crazy. I didn't think this design was going to pay off at all. We had to add a lot of brake sections to get it to be not like earth-shatteringly scary. Moving on through here, underneath this bridge that the Woody made for us, looking pretty good. I actually do really, really like the look of this little hump right here. For whatever reason, I think it's a good look. Uh-oh, castle shards broke down again. Oh no, I don't think we ever actually changed the work roster to add mechanics to fix these. But that's okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. It's fine. So up here we have a kind of cool track ride, I guess. It's called Crank Shart. It used to be called Crank Start, but we just changed the T to an H. It has these Ford Model A's that aren't really Ford Model A's. They just sort of get guided by a track and go around in a circle. Very, very boring. The cars go very slow, but kids and families tend to really enjoy that. Moving on over here, this is technically still the north side of the park. We have the Ring Racers, which is, I believe, I'm still not 100% on this, the default go-kart track. Very basic, but also very cool. It's got some nice decoration in it, got a cool little like bridge section over here. I didn't even realize that you can do guardrails like this, so that's pretty sweet. Then over here we have Castle Shards, otherwise known as something gameplays something rather. Let me go into track ride so I can actually tell you guys what it is. It is Tricky Plays Games Princess Amelie's Castle Karts. I believe this is a blueprint from the Steam Workshop. So that Tricky Plays Games, I guess they made this. I don't want to say he or she, and uploaded it to the Steam Workshop where anyone can download it and drop it into their own park. And it's a pretty good looking ride. It's definitely got some cool scenery around it, got some cool decoration, what with the castle and everything. Got some cool little fountains over here. Very, very cool go-kart track. Now I think that does it for the north side for the most part. Let's do these last two little track rides here, and then we'll get into the east and the west. So this one out here is called the Buccaneers Bounty. It took a long periodically time to actually build the terrain around this. Originally, this entire area was flat, and it looked absolutely out of place, 100%. But as soon as I added in a little bit of a mountain, it kind of works. It kind of looks okay. We also had water over here, and suddenly it's disappeared. I honestly don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. This whole area was filled with water, so that's new. Yikes, I can't believe I didn't notice that. Just pretend there's water in there for now. Over here on the east side, we have our other flat ride. This one is not performing as well as it used to. We got a couple of people sort of trickling in. This one is called the Lay of the Land. Now the actual ride is called Lay the Land. I think the devs might have forgotten to put the of in there to make it Lay of the Land, because lay the land is not a phrase. That's not something that people say. Lay of the Land, however, that is an actual phrase. This one, very, very simple. It's just a little boat ride. They go pretty friggin' slow, but it's kind of cool. You have like these little scenery objects, little focus points as you go around. Stuff to look at, stuff that's kind of cool. Some like Aztec looking things, Mayan, I don't know. Some sort of forgotten historical culture, statues. It's pretty sweet. I like it. It's sort of Indiana Jones-esque. Kind of a cool little theme over there. And the next thing I'm going to cover is the 2G Gondola, of course. This area over here at this station, this is the East Station, is hippo-themed. So we have a whole bunch of hippos in the water over here. If you guys didn't know, yes, there are hippo animatronics. These are not, like, this is not a Planet Zoo crossover by any means. This is literally animatronics. These are robots, believe it or not. I know they look very convincing. So that's the East Station. Over here at the West Station, I really wanted to do sharks, but crocodiles or alligators, they're crocodiles. Alligators are different. Crocodile animatronics, very cool. Very big, very scary, extremely convincing, but at the end of the day, very cool. So from east to west, you guys can see it sort of from an aerial view. We have the East Station wraps around the outside of the park here. comes through about the center, I would say. I did have to make a little S-bend in here just so I could get these poles off of the path. And then over here, another little S-curve bend thing right over the top of the Buccaneers Bounty, just skimming by the castle top right here, around the outside of this side of the park, down again, close to the ground, and into the other station. So we have now covered the north central, the central, and the main entrance, and I guess the 2G Gondola. That's kind of a separate area. The next thing that we're going to do is cover the east side over here. So we do have a flat ride on this side as well. It is Bust a Move, normally known as Power Moves. It's just a blueprint ride that you can place down. I found out, I don't think this is from the Steam Workshop, this background here. It is an in-game default background that you can drop in. Apparently, the default blueprint for this one is just the ride itself, but there is also one that has this sort of backdrop here that adds a little bit of flair to it. I think it looks a lot better with this. Now, to the north side of that, we have, of course, the White Dragon, which actually has a green car, hence the green signs out in the front. That one's pretty wild. It's got quad loop. Yeah, that's the quad loop coaster. And then we have the Black Dragon, which actually has an orange cart, or I guess a cart with orange on it. That's the Copperhead Strike, I want to say, is the original coaster. Moving on over to the west side. Oh, something else that I'm going to have to remember to talk about is the firework display that I worked very, very hard on. This one was formerly Psychola, this flat ride here. We renamed it as the Drunk Tank. I don't know why. I think Brain something rather probably would have been a better name. It's like a Frankenstein type of theme. To the north of the Drunk Tank, I almost said Psychola, is the Hummingbird. This one is a little strange. I didn't think it was gonna work really at all, but somehow we came together and we made something happen. It's very basic, this one, but I do think it turned out pretty good. We have some big, I don't know, is that a corkscrew? I don't know what that section of track is called. Now to the south of that, we have the Butterfly. This area is animal themed, aside from the Drunk Tank being named the Drunk Tank. The winged themed section. What was the east? This is sort of the dragon section over here. And then we had the pee-pee section in the north central area. So let's go through all the coasters, of course, and I'm going to start with the coaster that we covered first and try to do the others accordingly. If I don't do them in the exact order that we just talked about them in, that is totally fine. All right, so let's hop in the Planeteer first. I'm gonna try, like I said, to do front-facing, like, camera view, and it's probably gonna be terrible, but we'll just see what happens, I guess. So up at the top here, this is the first drop, the only actual drop. Oh my god. Can I vomit now, please? Good god. See, this ride is very cool. I think this one has an absolute beautiful concept because since the actual car rotates around, you could be sitting in the front, you could be sitting in the back, but no matter how many times you ride this coaster, each and every experience that you have on it is going to be completely brand new. You could be facing forwards one time, backwards, sideways. It doesn't matter. Each time you ride it, you're gonna have a new experience and probably a better experience, apart from the fact that you would vomit over anyone that's near you. And it just broke down, so we actually rode that at the perfect time. Now moving on over here across the pond to the Underwhelming. All right, up the mega chain lift here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit till we get to the top. Not fast forwarded now. This is actually just how fast this thing is. We have that sort of inverted drop there at the start. Some twists, some turns. We go around the initial drop point, up through a big loop here. Tight loop though, tight loop. Around the corner, and then we thread the needle through the center of the loop. Go down, kind of calm area right here. Back up to the top. Really aggressive small drop right there. Around another turn. Most of our coasters are just up, down, turn, up, down, turn. Kind of the same thing. And I know a lot of people gave me some crap about that, but like I said, not a coaster designer, all right? It's just a game. It's just a game.
Anyone that ever uses the excuse it's just a game is a horrible human being and is lazy. You're a lazy human being.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So that is Central Park. Moving up to North Central Park over here. First, I believe we talked about Old Woody over here, Old Woodster. So let's hop in the camera view here. This is the first drop, I guess, actually, right after the chain lift, so that worked out. This ride is extremely loud. I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear me all that well, but these wooden coasters, you know, they typically are fairly loud. And they're kind of boring also. There's not really a whole lot that you can do with them. You can't do any inversions, which I kind of like, actually, because I always forget to put the inversions in anyways. But it's basically, you have a drop, you have a straight section, and you have a bunch of hills. That's about all you can do with a wooden coaster. Next, we have the Red Rocket. Now, you guys, if you didn't realize the PP theme, you definitely realize it now. This is the initial drop here. You go down and then immediately back up, all the way up to the top here, and we have a triple loop section. I can't remember exactly what these loops are called, but we have a triple inversion section. How about that? All the way around. I thought this would scare people off. Apparently it didn't, because a lot of people still really like to ride this one. Down the backside here, we have a slight brake section right there into a butterfly loop, cobra loop, maybe? Ugh, people are gonna eat me alive for not knowing these inversion names. Up and over the center queue area right here, a little boost in speed around here, up and over underneath the old Woody, and back into the station. So that is the Red Rocket. Moving on to the east side, I believe we talked about the White Dragon. I almost called it the Green Dragon. So we'll hop into here. Let's go to this train. I think it's at the first chain lift. There's two chain lifts. Yes, this is at the first one. Perfect. Let's get rid of that. So this one is pretty cool because you're actually hanging beneath the track. Now, I've never been on a coaster that has this type of feature, but I think I would really enjoy it. It would definitely be something interesting. I don't think any of the theme parks even close to around my area have any coasters like this. Normally, it's the sort of car on track type of coaster. But I like this one. The quad loop definitely works for it. We have a little sort of wavy section over the station queue right there. Back over the top of the queue, slows down a little bit, and glides you on in back into the station. Moving on to the Black Dragon, it did actually just break down, and I'll fast forward until we get a mechanic out here, and I'm gonna drink some of my coffee in the meantime and hopefully wake up a little more. So we should be good to go. Ready when you are, operator lady. We have a immediate launch out of the gate here around the corner, and another launch section through a full 360-degree loop right here. Up and around over a straight section with another speedy bit. Through another 360-degree loop. Up and over another little bridge section. Brake section right there, not a speedy bit. Drops you down the backside here over the station queue. And you just glide on in back into the station. That one's very boring, which is kind of deceiving because the cars look really, really cool. If you guys didn't already get a good look at the car. Carowinds Copperhead Strike. I don't know where that is or even what that is. I've never heard of it before. I'm sure some of you theme park enthusiasts have probably heard of it. That was the east side. Let's move on to the west side. This is the last area of the park that we have to cover. I think we talked about Hummingbird first, so let's just hop on here. The color combination that we chose for this ride is unbelievably ugly, but for whatever reason, it just works. We kind of did this lavender metallic purple for the car color, and then a seafoam green for the track color. Now, I like seafoam green. I think that's a good looking color. I just don't know if the two together really mesh well, but that's what makes it stand out from the other coasters, you know? Sometimes things can be so ugly that they're pretty, right? Or cute, I guess is the actual saying. But we have Oh god, every time it saves, every time your game saves, it creates a little bit of a delay in whatever you're doing, whatever you're riding. It just sort of pauses for a second and saves, which is not very convenient for recording videos on a game like this, but it's alright. It only happens some of the time. And just like that, you're back into the station. This one's really quick. You can cycle some people through it very, very quickly. So I guess the name Hummingbird kind of makes sense. 1,000 beats per minute or something like that. Now we get to ride the Butterfly. I'm gonna try to get in the car just ahead of us. Not that one. Right here. Perfect. Train number 9. So up the chain lift here. This actually has a fairly short chain lift compared to some of the other coasters that we've done. This is the same coaster that we did in our previous Park Paradise that was called Scoop-de-Loop-de-Hoop-de, which turned out really, really well for being such a short coaster. However, when I brought it into this park, I don't know why, but I really struggled on getting a solid design for it. This loop section here was an absolute nightmare. I had to edit and edit and edit and edit until I finally got it looking just right. The two coasters may come very, very close to colliding back there on that last corner, but that's okay. We won't pay much attention to that. And back into the station. We have gone over every single ride now. We've gone over every single coaster. The last thing we have to go over, and it's something that I went over in the previous episode here, is our firework display. So I'm going to come over here, select this sequence thingamabob, madoohicker, enter display camera mode. We have a couple of cameras here strategically placed around the park. This one is on the Little Dipper, this one is on the Big Dipper, and now we wait for the fireworks to commence. Alright, the first mortars are off, so we have this sort of basic show here with some yellow, with some light blue, and then we have, boom, big ol' subscribe to 2G. I guess, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you are worried about, like, 2G, you know, I'm not here for any of the other games. I'm here for Planet Coaster. That's okay. Click the notification bell here on the channel. You'll get notified, and you'll know whether or not I'm gonna have a Planet Coaster episode that day, or a Thief Sim, or a Car Mechanic Sim, or Minecraft, or whatever. But the normal rule of thumb here on the channel is that we're going to cycle through games about once every month. So we'll have typically 30 episodes or so in a series, and we can always come back to it. I can't stress this enough, but cycling through games is probably the best way to play them, because once you go about a month playing a game straight, you start to get really sick of it. Everything kind of just becomes the same. It's the same experience all over every single day, and it gets a little monotonous, a little boring. Channels that do like specifically Farming Simulator or specifically only Minecraft, I don't know how they do it, you guys. I would lose my freaking mind. So with that being said, I do think I'm going to wrap things up here. Now, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.